Welcome to episode 14, part 2 of your Hearth at Home. If you have yet to catch part 1, I encourage you to do so to provide context to where Ali picks up his story now. As a brief reminder, at this point, Ali and his family have just been deported from Germany back to Ukraine, where they had originally fled and claimed refugee status due to extreme encounters with racism after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
I'm arriving to Ukraine, and my mom had to because there were no passports, there was nothing. The Ukrainian government found my mom in the system. She's a traitor. She left. She was searched. They took her necklace. They took whatever she had, the belongings, necklace. They're like, you're nobody here. You're nobody. They searched me. They didn't find anything. At that point, I was just so devastated. They saw me. They didn't even touch me. They interrogated my mom, like, what do we have in Germany? Do we have anything, money? Do we have any real estate? Nothing. So we come to Ukraine, nothing. And at the airport, my mom was able to ask someone for a telephone. This was year 2003. Year 2003. I am 15 years old. My sister is 8. And my mom is in her 40s. She calls my sister. My sister is in shock. She's like, wow, are you in Ukraine? She sent somebody to pick us up, a friend. So we waited at the airport for hours and hours and hours. And then our friend picked up and brought us back home, brought us back to the apartment that my mother, we still had an apartment. Someone else was just living there, my sister's friends. So we had to co-live with them for a little bit. And it felt like nightmare. It didn't feel real. That moment was the most, in my mom's life, I know it was the most devastating. So we come home, we settle in, and every day I tried to stay calm, but every day I felt the guilt because it was intense. Mom was paralyzed. We started having neighbors that came to us and bring alcohol to mom, so we started drinking. That caused more violence at home. All violence was just inflicted upon me. And I felt there's got to be a way. And so for a few days I didn't want to go outside, and then I said, Mom, I have money. I showed her money, those 300 euros. She says, well, you go change it. We have to have food. We don't have anything. So the moment I go outside, I see this reality. I see people look at me with disgust, laughing at me, even neighbors, because they see that I'm back, that nothing worked out. And then on my first time, I'm getting into the bus to go into the kiosk to change my money. The first thing that happens, we have these conductors that check if you have a ticket. They get in and they don't see that I don't have anything. I said, I'm going. I spoke Russian with such bad accent, because I wanted to forget. I say, I have a euro. I can give you a euro, which is like 5 tickets. And they're like, no, we're pulling you out. We're fining you. We'll take everything from you. And I was like, if this is gonna happen, it's over. This is the last money. So they're trying to get me out of the bus, and the people in the bus, they started protecting me. They're like, no, he just got in. Don't you see? He's a foreigner. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know. And I just cried so bad. I felt tears were just, I didn't know where I'm at. Where am I? This is, and I, they let me be in the bus. They took my euro, they left. And then I go to the bank and I changed the money. They gave me less than supposed to. They ripped me off. And then I went to get some food. I didn't know how the kilograms worked. They also tricked me there. I come home, my mom screams at me like, you're an idiot. You can be easily manipulated and tricked. You don't know how to handle money. So I said, okay. I shut down. I shut down. I was in a room. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Just fasting, not eating, no appetite. Just and I don't want to make it all about myself. My youngest sister at the time was, yeah, she saw it all. She gave me a hug. She was not really understanding what's going on, and she's like, well, it's gonna get, it will get better. Ukraine was changing a little bit. Um, they were trying to get into European Union. Um, and for me, the goal was to go to college. So I'm just fast forward through some of the things. I was told I need to go to school. Mom says, you have to go, you have to find a way to go to school. Doesn't matter. Just get yourself out. You're home, you're dysfunctional, go to school. So I apply for school, nobody accepts me because I don't have GED, I don't have diploma, I have nothing. All I have is this school, the German school Ausweis, which is the ID card. And I asked around, nobody accepted me, maybe 12 applications, 12 schools. Until I was, one of my mother's friends, she was going to this one Christian school outside of, it's like a college thing. It's called UGI, Ukrainian Humanitarian Institute. I went there. It's a long story, but I went there and I heard somebody speaking German, and I knew that I was told that this institute was sponsored by Germans. So when I heard the gentleman speak German, I ran over to them. I told them my whole story. I said I was just deported from Germany. I'm back in Ukraine. I need to go to school. I don't have any paperwork. I have the school ID. Can you help me? Can you help me? So they brought me to the director of the school, and the director of the school looks at me. He said, well, I believe that you went to school. We can try to contact the school in Germany to verify. But here, the system in Ukraine is that you're already late for the school, but we can sign you up, but you still have to provide GED of some form at the end of the school year. You have to, because there'll be commission investigation. So I will let you in, but we're a Christian school. So are you Christian? And I said, yes, well, I can be anyone and anything. I said, my name is Ali. My father is a Muslim, but I've been circumcised. But my mom is a Christian, and I was baptized. I have a certificate of Orthodox baptism. They said, well, we're a Seventh-day Adventist, so we do things differently here. And so before college starts, we have these morning ceremonies, which you will need to attend to. I said, yes, I'll do it. I'll join. So the school was outside of Kiev. It was like an hour on the bus. It was all very Ukrainian. The students were from most parts of Ukraine. they were tolerant towards me because the Christian values and everything, I felt better there. And so I started going to school, into college. I was academically really behind. The only thing I was excelling was German and English language. Like I was excelling everybody and everything at the time. But everything else, I was just literature. I mean, I could read Ukrainian, but I could never really speak properly. And I started learning, picking up. Uh, and I felt like, okay, the life is a little bit normalizing. I try to spend more time there. And I talked to some girls. I had few, not girlfriends, just friends that are girls, and I told them about what I went through, and they were compassionate towards me. And the beautiful part was the college was in the woods, like in a cedar forest, so it was isolated from everything. It was like its own bubble. And what happened um, is in 2003, as I came back to weekends, I would spend with my mom in Kiev, and my mom was still very I mean, turning into alcoholic at the time. So it was tough to see the trauma. And then what happened is, I was on on weekend, I was walking with one of the girls, and it was more so like towards city center, Gidra Park area. It's like the area that is actually known for skinheads. I didn't know at the time. And I was hit with a bottle of something from skinheads, and screaming that, get the fuck out of the country. We don't want women. We don't want you to touch our women. And so I lost consciousness, and I was brought to emergency. I had concussion, and I said to myself, I have to find. I I felt paralyzed. I felt like I'm not going to survive. I'm just not going to survive. There was a moment I didn't mention. There was another moment where I had 5 knife stabs in my body. I shared photos with you, and the knife, the it had I had pus coming out of my body for a month. I was dysfunctional for a month. That traumatized my mom even more. Uh, my sister, thankfully, she was with my other sister. She didn't see much of it. I felt like I need to find a way to escape. I need to find a way to escape. It kind of hurts to talk about those experiences, the knife stabbing and concussion, but it made me, it woke something in me to find a way to escape. And I didn't know how, because after deportation from Germany, our names were blacklisted in European Union. Um, and I knew that if you want to go Australia or United States or Canada, they share the database. And my mom could not leave Ukraine for 10 years. For 10 years, she could go to Russia or Kazakhstan, but not anywhere west. When those things happened to me, I didn't go to college for a little bit. And when I came back, there was a silver lining. I heard about this program called Camp America, which was a program to take students on the second year of school to United States for 3 months. I didn't know if the program was real. or if it's not real. All I know that I have to try. And I knew somebody that came back. I talked to one of the college guys who came back. He said, yeah, it works. You just have to file paperwork and you have to pay $800. And I didn't know how am I going to do it. So I asked my sister, she couldn't, I mean, she didn't have that much at the time, and we were just living really on the edge. The average Ukrainian salary, I mean, my mom started going looking after somebody as a caretaker, and she was making $40 a month, $50 a month. So I knew it will be just not possible. But I believe that something may happen. So I started skipping school, and I tried working construction. I worked for 4 days. I pulled my back. I understood it's not gonna work, and plus, I only made $4 a day. I knew it's not going to happen. Uh, so the way it worked is at the end of the first, there is these timelines that I'm trying to keep track of. At the end of the school year, I needed to come up with GED diploma. So I had to get my sister involved, and she brought me to some school where I kind of passed fast track exams, which I failed because I don't know math, I don't know much. So we had to bribe the teacher to pass, to make it pass. Here we bribed another teacher. So my sister spent money on bribing teachers, and so that it shows that I passed everything. And I got my GED diploma. My GED diploma is basically a bribery. And so we use that diploma to cover up and be accepted for the second year of college. I failed the exams of the first year of college. I only passed German, English, and geography and history. The rest, and they still allow me to go second year but I will need to pass exams in term, like somewhere in between the second year. And I've had a vision. Really, there was this clear vision that I will make money. I will still qualify as a student, because I knew that there is no way I'm gonna pass these exams. Studying is so hard. It's just too hard. And this is my chance to be while still student, apply as a student to come to the United States and make money, and just find a way to make money as long as I'm student, because this program only applies for students. The problem is that when we were deported from Germany, I was under my mom's last name. I had to change my last name to my father's last name. Uh, so I go back to my sister, help me. She pulls it off. She finds connections through mafia. They're changing my last name, and I'm getting Ukrainian passport with Fundi, Ali Fundi. This is the name I came to the United States. The passport was made in 3 days, which is unreal. In Ukrainian standard, it takes 3 days. They made passport. There was a lot of money spent. And my sister says, Ali, whatever it is you're doing, that's all I could help you with. So I started working different jobs. I worked a few days. My friend said, you can make money at the strip club. So I was 16, inviting people to the strip club in the center of Ukraine, wearing a sombrero hat. And one of the women wanted me, so she took me inside. She asked me to dance. I felt so ashamed. I was so shaken. I ran away. I left the money. I ran away. I was like, no, I have to find another way. I have to find another way. What is the way to? And then I got involved with some gangs. We're selling piracy software. It's called police database, like basically selling database that police has, which means when somebody wants to find somebody in Ukraine, which is quite common, if you take their phone number or their address, you find out their names and everything. So I became, I got connected into that network of reselling software, reselling those CDs with police databases about people in Ukraine. I got caught by police. They, I had to bribe them. They were like, I mean, it was just funny. They called me. They're like, okay, you don't be afraid to be a nigger and do this. So they took my money. They just let me go. They didn't beat me or anything. And I was just, I realized that I have to do it. So I continued doing it through another channel. And then my mom saw that. She's like, Ali, I can connect you to foreigners that got stuck in Ukraine but still receive money from other countries. So with my passport, I became a contact for illegal people to receive money through Western Union. So somebody will send money, let's say from Iraq or Mozambique, and I will receive the money, give the money to people, and maybe take $5, $10. So I started doing that, became trusted contact because there are many undocumented people in Ukraine who got stuck, who are still trying to survive, living in these little hostels, and they've been receiving help from their relatives or whatnot from overseas. So I started doing that. And somebody at the bank probably told Mafia that I'm coming to collect money. And one day when I come collect $500 at the bank, I see four guys, big guys with black jackets, waiting for somebody. And I knew, I felt, I had this feeling. They're coming to take everything that I got. So the moment I come out of the bank, I pretend as if nothing is happening, and then I just run. I run for my life. I run. They try to chase me. They're running, and I don't know how. I run really fast. By the way, really fast. It's in DNA. And I got into the bus. I was able to escape. And the people who waited for the money, I didn't show up. They were waiting for me. It was a woman from Congo, I don't remember exactly, and she thought that I tricked him. So she told everybody in the hostel that this Ali disappeared. And then I came back. They wanted to, they wanted to just beat me, but I said I have the money. It's just I have to find a better way because the people at the bank, they're in talks with mafia. It's all connected. So I continued doing this. I was collecting money from different banks every time. Like I would spend extra amount of time, but the money was coming. That's the thing. The money was coming, and I had the goal, and I stopped going to college. My mom received letters from college that Ali owes us, and the college was not free. You have to pay. It was like $100 a month, which my sister helped in the beginning, but then I was paying a little bit just to keep it going. But then at the end, I just like the way I generate income, I have to apply for this program. So I show up, and the program Camp America is outside of the college. It's just our college participates in the program. So I come to the office of Camp America. I'm still 17 years old. I didn't have the passport at the time. It was still in progress. And I said, I need to apply. She says, you don't have passport. I said, it's coming. It's just, it's in the works. I came with flowers. I came with a bouquet of foreign chocolate, things that it's hard to get in Ukraine, like really like German chocolate through foreigners. There was a smuggling gang that I got involved with. So she was so impressed. She said, I'm gonna launch your application, and then I'm gonna correct it, backtrack with time. And so it will look as if you're an adult applying for this. So I applied, and I already had believed that my name is Ali Fundi, so we applied under that name. And so when I came April 7th on my birthday, 3 days later, you're April 6th, uh, I received the passport, and I go there and I give her the passport, and I also had the deposit, everything. She says, "You're the man of your word. You're already the man. I believe you will qualify." So the money is in, and I told her that I'm not going to college. I skipped the college. I said I don't have grades. I don't know how much they look at the grades. How do they look at the grades? And she said, "Well, don't worry. Everything can be manipulated one way or another." So when I applied for Camp America, she said, she was my inside person. I mean, this is unreal. This is just unreal. She says, just fill out that you can do everything. So when I fill out the application, questions like commercial dishwashing machine, commercial drying machine, commercial everything. Can you do it? I don't know what that is. I have no idea. In a remote world, I didn't have computer, no Google. I just said, yes, 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 I can do everything. And she says, okay, everything we just have to wait for invitation. So out of 60 students that applied from my college, 11 or 12, I think 11, got invitations. And I was one of them. So the Christians that didn't receive it, and they saw that I received it and I'm not attending the school. The moment I came back to school and I felt like, okay, I'm kind of there, I just have to go back to school to show that I'm going to school. I was I was attacked by the kids, one of the kids from the school who didn't get invitations. They gathered a group and they beat me in my chest, in my belly, like I was coughing blood. I came back home. I was bleeding. I was just they could have done worse than skinheads. It was more hate, violence rather than racism. Well, they called me all kinds of words there as well. All kinds of N words, and that I'm a black mud, that I'm a cheater. I use the school, I use Christian system to cheat and just get invitation to go to United States. That I am a scammer. I'm everything, everything. That I'm the biggest. That I'm not Christian, which I'm not. So I came home, I was bleeding, and my mom already saw that she was already so fatigued, tired. She gave me consolation, she gave me medicine. She's a nurse, and she said, "Ali, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know. I don't believe this is America. It's gonna happen." Nobody believed. Nobody. She said, "There is so much rip-offs. There is so much scam." But I said, I believe, and I just shut down in my room. I will just shut down because I didn't want to talk to anybody who doesn't believe, who thinks that it's not gonna work. So when the invitation comes, it comes from the state of Iowa, Camp Mitigua, Iowa. So it's a Boy Scouts camp in Iowa. And when the invitation came, the woman that worked on my invitation, the woman that worked at the camp agent, so the agent for the camp that sends people to United States as a college students to work in the camp, the ones I brought the flowers and everything, she said, "Ali, this camp, I only know one person who went there. It was a very hard camp. Because you filled out the application we filled out, we wanted to make sure you get invitation, but it's gonna be tough." I She said, in fact, I never sent anybody from Ukraine there. I know people went there, they had very bad reviews. I said, "It doesn't matter. If I can make it, I will make it." She says, "Well, you have to go through embassy interview." And this was one of my biggest moments. This was May 30th, 20, 2005. At the embassy, they look at your paperwork and they decide whether they let you to United States or not, because I already got invitation, so the paperwork looks good. I don't have my grades for the whole year to the second year of school. And so I come to the embassy early morning, all my paperwork is ready, everything, and I try to be so careful not to, I took taxi so that I don't get involved with any skinheads, like no attacks, like, and I asked my mom to pray. My mom was praying for me. She said, I'm gonna pray for the well-being. I mean, if it's embassy, it must be, something must be happening. So I'm at the embassy and I see these other guys from the college, my college, who thought that I'm already probably dead. They were just looking at me shocked that I'm there, that I made it that far. I'm at the embassy. I have all the paperwork because I vanished. Nobody knew about me. Nobody knew of anything. I just disappeared. So I'm at I'm at the, and it's my time. So the three students before me who were looking at me with anger, they got rejection. And now I'm going into that window and I don't know what to expect. So the interview begins with there is this, I forgot his name. Um, he was this bald man. He really looked like a skinhead in a way, which was even more scary. He was just bald-headed American, looking at me and asking me questions like, where am I from? Where is my father from? Is my father in the United States? I said, no. Is he, do you keep in touch with him? No. Then he looks at my name, Ali Fundi, says, you're under your father's name? Yes. And I'm just like praying that he doesn't look anywhere deeper. And so he looks at my grades. He says, so do you like the school? Are you, it's a Christian college? I said, yes, it's Christian. So I'm going with the plot. I'm consciously lying that I'm Christian, that I'm going, that I'm trying to be a good student. And so then he's asking me why he keeps, they're supposed to ask you questions about your school, but he's asking me about my father, about mother, these personal things. Where is he? And then he says, okay. And then he takes this red stamp, which is rejection. He said, he just holds it and says, how are you gonna prove that you're gonna be back from States in 3 months? And I'm just standing there, my heart is just trembling. I know that everything right now, the destiny is in his hand. And I just throwing everything at him. I said, you know, I am the only father for my family. I supply for my mom. I help support her. I I help whatever, my younger sister. I'm like a father for her. I'm trying to go to school at the same time. I do everything I can in my hands to be a good man, and I'm happy for the opportunity at the college that is given me. I learned some Christian morals, which is true. You know, there are good morals there, uh, and and I don't know why. At the end, I said I wanted to see Disneyland. I said my dream is to see Disneyland. I don't know where it came from. He looks at me. He says, I'm actually from Pasadena. I don't know where Pasadena is, somewhere in LA. I'm from Pasadena. My kids love Disneyland. He started smiling. He says, Disneyland. My kids love Disneyland. No one ever said that. This is so cool. He takes the blue stamp, approved. I I just I I look at him. I try to like push my hands through the glass and say thank you. He completely shuts the glass, throws back passport and gone. I'm in tears. I don't know what happened. All I know that I am approved. I'm coming out. The guys from the school thought that I got rejection because I was crying, and it made them feel better. I think obviously they were just, everybody thought that I got rejected. Maybe even till this day, I don't know. I mean, they know already with social media, but at the time, everyone thought that I got rejected, and I just came home. I didn't say a word. I said, Mom, it's approval, and we need to get the ticket. The ticket came next day for June 8th, June 7th, June 8th, 2005. I'm I there is a picture we took with Mom. She didn't believe. She says this is unreal. we we go. I said sorry, Mom, for everything. I'll try. I'll make it out. I'll see how it goes. I'll just see. I'll see how it goes. I don't know. I believe everything will be fine. So we arrive at the airport. The people, there was so much jealousy in the air from people that work at the airport. They see this black, dark-skinned guy leaving the country, and I said, Mom, I'm not coming back no matter what it is. I know it's just 3 months visa. It's 3 months, but I'll find a way. She was, and I know there'll be no connection. I don't know. I'm going where I'm going. So I'm going. So I flew. We came to. It was Kiev, Munich, Washington D.C., Washington D.C., Denver, and then Denver, Des Moines. It was 40-hour flight, and I was so happy. And one of the moments in Denver, I I I was the layover. Something happened. I didn't get the plane on the plane, and I was so scared. I didn't know where am I. I'm in Denver, and I approached attendants. Thankfully, I spoke English at the time, not as good as now, but I said I have a flight. I fly to. I said I fly to Camp Mitigua, Boone. My plane left, and I'm here. And this woman just prints out me a new ticket. She says, "Welcome to the United States." And I felt home. I felt home. I felt immediately. I said, this is the place where I need to be. I'm gonna make it. I will find a way. So I come to the Iowa, and first thing I see is the woman that met me, the manager for the camp. She uh, she she was such big woman, so oversized. I never seen people like that my whole life. And then first thing when she saw me, she says, "Ali, are you Ali from Ukraine? You look like the black guy on the street." Something like that. She was so shocked to see me. This guy, it's like it didn't make sense that I look dark, black, and I'm from Ukraine. I I was so happy. And so she's like, hop in my, she had this old Century, Buick Century. We hopped in and we drive. Um, we stopped at McDonald's. I remember I tried a bite. It was so disgusting. It was so disgusting. I realized how it was a drive-through too. A drive-through. I was like, wow. And things started to click. Drive-through mentality, America, drive-through people. And I look at people around, oversized, and I'm like skinny, lean, in a survival mode. And I'm like, I can do this. I can make it. I can make it. So we're arriving in Camp Mitigua, and I'm the last guy who arrived at the Boy Scouts camp. They already started working, and I didn't know what the job. I didn't know what I applied for. I have no idea what I subscribed for. All I knew is that I will be in the Boy Scouts camp working in the kitchen. What do I do? Nothing. I suppose. So when I arrived, there were 5 guys from Poland and 1 guy from Russia. I spoke some Polish. I understood some Polish, but the Russian guy, the Armenian, there was this Russian Armenian guy who was just like so negative about everything. He was so negative. He's like, "Oh fuck, you finally came. Fuck this, fuck that." He's like, "This is a slave camp. We are working here. There is 400." So when I came, there was 500 kids. Before I came, there was 500 kids. When I came, the exactly same day, there was extra children. So 650 kids total, and we have to cook food for 650 kids. He says, we're waking up at 4 a.m. and we're there pretty much with intermittent breaks until 9 p.m. Cooking and cleaning, cooking and cleaning, cooking and cleaning. I didn't even read the contract when I came to States. All I knew that it's like $1,000. So they pay you $1,000 after 2 months, and you work there. I don't know how many hours you work. Didn't matter. Just didn't care. And I was told that it's gonna be tough, and we're sleeping in tents. So big tents. Imagine you have like reindeer running around, raccoons. Like all of a sudden, I'm in a tent. I never, even in a refugee camp, there were no tents. Uh, so, but it's supposed to be summer camp, Boy Scout. So I'm okay with it. We started working. We wake up early morning, and I need to chop. So the first thing I understood that there is the food. There was a lot of bacon, a lot of greasy food, corn, and I had to chop onions. And I see that I'm not doing well. And the manager, this lady Anita, uh, we called her 4x4 because of the size. And she was just looking at me, and she's just telling me that I'm not doing things as fast as everybody else. Like I'm slow, I'm not doing it. And so she's like, "Okay, Ali, move away from here. Go." This is on my first day. Go. There is this commercial, and this commercial stove that I remember on application. Now I see it. It's huge stove from the beginning of this room to pretty much maybe 5 meters long, because you have frying pans all over the place, like all over, and you have to watch them all because the kids are waiting. And you hear the kids already there, and they're like screaming and stuff, and I feel the pressure. And I never cooked my whole life. I mean, pretty much I was spoon fed by my mom until 18. So I take the frying pan, and it started shooting. Like it had bacon in there, but someone forgot to decrease the fire or something. It shot me in the eye. Something shot me. I lost the balance, and it flipped. The oil flipped. I still have here on my finger, it's kind of hard to show, but I have discoloration here, right in the middle. It was a first-degree burn. It just, and my 2 fingers were attached like this. And I yell, I scream, like, this woman, I need a rolls because she cannot run or walk, and says, shut the fuck up. I don't want kids to hear you yell. Don't scare my children. Get the fuck out of the kitchen. And my Polish friend, he put a toothpaste and Band-Aid. Toothpaste supposed to eliminate the pain and just like a painkiller. And I'm out of the kitchen, and I realize that I'm burning, I'm hurting. It doesn't feel right. And the same evening, Anita tells me not to come to the kitchen. And that evening, she calls me to the office, and she said, I saw how you work. You are a liar. And in America, we don't take people like that. You lied on your resume, you lied on application. You don't know anything about this. She said it in more intense way with, yeah. She called me a liar, which was true. And I said, well, I said, I cannot go back to Ukraine. She says, no, it's not about that. It's about you being deceptive. I don't care about your background, your history. You lied to make your way here, and kids will not get food from you because you don't know how to cook. So she said, I'm gonna file a paperwork and send you back to Ukraine, send you back because you have injury, you are not qualified for work. I saw she watched me the whole day, and yeah, I was not doing a good job. So I uh, I didn't know what to do. I thought to myself, okay, I only have $24. That's all I have left. The last $100 I spent on buying a CD player, which I was debating, because I needed some music just to keep myself calm or positive, something. And so I was left with just $24. I was thinking that we get $1,000 like every week, or it's like it's being spread out in cycles or something, but they only pay you at the end. So I was just, I was 18 years old. I didn't know anything. So I was developing a plan to escape the camp, uh, to run away, because I'm gonna be deported again. If I'm deported again, I'm blacklisted. I'm not gonna. That's over. It's over. And I said to myself, I'm gonna run. So I took my backpack that evening, and I started to look for ways out. Look for ways out. Look out. And I was wandering around the the camp. It was dark, uh, and I kind of got lost. I really didn't know where I was going. I came to the fence because it was fenced campground, and I just thought, I don't know where I'm going. I started like doubting myself. Where am I gonna go? Where? And one of the camp guys, one of the kids from the camp, is like maybe 11, 12 years old guys. He he found me with a flashlight. He's like, "Whoa, where are you going?" I lied again. I said I got lost. I said I had a backpack. I said I lost. He said, "Oh, let me bring you back to the camp." So I went back. I came back, and I was thinking to myself, what can I do? If there is nowhere to go, uh, how can I escape? So the whole night I didn't sleep. I was praying. I was praying to all everything I could pray, really. God, universe, Jesus, everything that I remembered. My father, Masai, entities, and Guy, Jesus, Muhammad, everything. Just calling for something. And there is an idea that came to me. because I realized that when they file paperwork to send somebody back, it doesn't happen instant. It takes 4 days, 5 days. So all this time, what I'm doing, sitting and doing nothing. So I had an idea where I would go into the kitchen and I will just help with cleaning and do some other work, but also restructure the kitchen. So the way it was working is, imagine the kids are here, the counter is here, and we are here. We put food on the counter, kids collect it from the counter and go back. I wanted to eliminate this counter and be the server. So take the food and deliver straight to the table. Somehow, when we went through drive-through of McDonald's, I realized the drive-through mentality that people are lazy. People need food to be delivered because kids will be bunching up at the counter and get mad. And I had this revelation. So next morning I went to Anita. I said, well, I have an idea. I can help kitchen while you do the paperwork. I don't want to be sitting and my finger still hurts, but I want to help. I want to try. I have this idea of serving and then I will be cleaning, but I'm not going to be cooking. She says, no, you're a liar. I don't want to talk. I don't want any of your ideas, nothing. You are just, whatever you say. I saw what you work, your action proved. So I went to this guy who runs the camp, Scott. I know he was the main, he was not in charge of kitchen like Anita. He was the guy who runs the whole camp. I told him the situation. I said, I really, and I also know that I understood that everywhere in the world, hard labor is valuable. Like if you prove labor that you want to work, you have to be put to work. I said, I really want to work. I mean, these people are conservative over there. I didn't even know about the time, but I saw that they are working labor people. And I said, I have an idea. I want to work while you process. I don't want to sit and do nothing. I'm willing to work, and you can send me back whenever it is, but I will do some kind of work. And I offered him this plan. And he says, so it means I don't have to stand up and wait to get a food? I'm like, yes, you don't have to. So he said, okay. I asked my friends to wake up a little bit earlier. So initially, we were starting waking up at 4 a.m. Initially, we were like 4:30, but 30 minutes earlier, I asked them to do this thing, and I'll be the server. So I will take food directly from where they cook and have kids go to their tables. It was so hard to do. I cannot even describe you the pudding. You know, I had some things fall from the tray. I never served my whole life. I only saw that in restaurants. But I realized that it's gonna be better. And so breakfast, dinner, I did this, and then I was cleaning up. I ran all the dishwashing machines. You know, finger was still hurting, and I was doing it day 2. And on a second or third day, because I run so fast, I got so much faster. The kids were calling me Roadrunner, so they were screaming Roadrunner, Roadrunner. I didn't know what Roadrunner is really. And then later I was told there is a cartoon like Peek Peek. So, and they called Roadrunner, and they liked the fact that I was going so fast, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and try to smile through the pain. uh, Scott comes over to me. He said, you know, our camp has been existing for 7 or 8 years, and I never experienced anything like this. And the parents are happy that they don't have to stand in line. And I talked to Anita, and I want you to be here. Just, we agreed that you're gonna be doing the dirty work, and you're gonna be serving, but keep going what you're doing. Great job. I was just, wow. At that time, I was so fatigued. I didn't even have tears. I was just, it's like, okay, I surrender, and I'm gonna do it.
Thank you for joining me in experiencing Ali's story thus far. please make sure that you find him on social media now and send him all kinds of love. His links are in the show notes. And keep an eye out. The next chapter of Ali's story will be released in just 2 days. If you are enjoying this series, please share, rate, review, and subscribe. I am sending you so much love, and I'll see you soon.